Oh my goodness. I get the word influencer far too often. I just play video games, but it's cool to be here with the CARV team going through games, excited to explore games. I've gotten a lot of Web3 gaming in over the last couple of weeks, and I'm just excited to jump in and see what these games have to offer, but then also what their teams are thinking, get the behind the scenes.
But we grow really fast. So I think probably in a few months we'll become the best one. And we'll also become the biggest community of Web3 game. Now we have 400K followers on our Discord. I think there will be a success for us.
We're very big on our lore and world building, and we want it to feel, as full and as engaging as possible. And but there's also going to be a big emphasis on like your multiplayer raids and your multiplayer PvE.
Fantasy is a full 3D anime character collectible premium action art. And what's special about all the graphics that you see here is that we really tried to make 2D anime come to life in a 3D world. And we believe that we have actually nailed that art style.
Yeah, I'm one of the co-founders at the studio. My name is Ben. Sorry, I'm the head of art. And yeah, we're building like fairly long-term strategic kind of progression with thousands of different combinations of heroes to unlock, high skill cap, meaningful customizations that are coming up.
We thought that it's really important to like give some kind of conviction to the gamers that it's actually bringing some kind of fun, because when the game isn't really bringing some like fun, then what is the blockchain for? So that was the basic intention why we are focusing on the actual like lore of the gameplay and try to bring some kind of like essential like core gameplay mechanics and features during the first community test.
Yeah, right now we're available on PC and Mac, but in 2 months when we go for the beta launch, NFTs integrated tokens out, it will be on mobile, and we hope to be able to find more users over there to help us test the product and grow the community and the product with us as we approach the full launch with the God game features.
We've started from a traditional gaming studio and sprinkled in Web3 where we think makes sense. Phone MOBA, as I said, 2 teams of 3 battle it out. We are quite competitive at the in our own team, and we're just kind of thinking, how can we make a MOBA even more competitive? Is there a way we can add a time element maybe?
I think you get the look and feel of it similar to Age of Empires, Clash of Clans kind of style. And once you have your army, you can go ahead and fight against other invaders. If you have more people on your land, you can fight against them together. So if this dude would be online right now, which is one of my team members, then he could play together with me.
Counterpoint, as you can see, is an action RPG game inspired by, I would guess, Diablo, Torchlight, or similar action RPG games, but it's mostly or entirely for mobile, and it's kind of a simplified version of those hardcore action RPGs.
When Web3 really started to become real and sort of get a heartbeat, we thought we had the talent, we had the expertise, and it was time to try to do something new. So about getting on 2 years now, I guess, we started to like spin up what we considered like a first-party studio builder, and that was the Shrapnel project. So, we have so many moving parts on it. The project is huge. Like it sprawls across a number of different value streams.
Seeing our characters in a PvE environment is a whole different type of thing of like, okay, the pacing actually might need to like increase a little bit. The most thing that we're like focused on over the summer is getting all those families out and like for people to play like with their own assets. The other thing is like really fleshing out like the partner economy that we're doing is like for other people to host like a tournament. Like so Bryson can host his own tournament. And we're even trying to get some smart contract stuff enabled for that at the end of it.
Splinterlands is a kind of auto battler game where you essentially get a rule set when you launch into a game. You're able to pick your summoner, which buffs all of your monsters, and then you're able to pick up to 7 monster cards, and then those auto battle it out. Everything's verified on the blockchain itself, so you can actually go through, see who won. A whole bunch of third-party tools really built against that.
So, with like our faction system that's in the game that's just constantly at in battle with one another. The game is going to be like ever evolving and ever changing, right? So you might go to sleep and have captured, 2 tiles on the map, right? And you might wake up and have lost 6, and so you're at a net negative, right? And so I think we have this game and this gameplay loop that's really conducive to building out a 1,000-hour game as opposed to being like a shorter kind of style.
Imagine when AI and everything matures to where people are constantly using it, is going to be another different story. I think now we are just sort of like touching the base. Of course, when charges starts to occur, that's another thing as well. But people who are utilizing this will get a very, very strong benefit. I'm pretty sure there will be courses as well, like next time, etc. And just, maybe even in schools where they just study AI specifically. It will definitely change a lot of stuff, but it's very hard to say now. I feel that there's a lot of things that can be utilized by AI that is not happening right now. And obviously, one of them is using AI to create a game itself. I think it is actually possible. It's just a matter of time.
Try to make it appear like it's something familiar from Web2, while inside it's entirely different thing. We have to put it in disguise, I would say. So it is an interesting process. It is quite challenging, but yeah, make no mistake, kind of a Web2 thing is not happening in Mitrium.
I would also add that we are quite skeptical for those people who are saying that AAA in a blockchain. We believe that this space is going to be quite niche, and the cases for the blockchain games they are quite narrow. We have to realize and recognize that if you want to, of course, to build a healthy blockchain game, not just another.
Our whole studio is actually co-founded by game producers as well, but themselves originally working at NetEase, Blizzard, and Tencent. From their prior experiences, I think that definitely helped contributed in creating a game like ours in terms of its quality. I think what's the most important is people don't really understand like how long.
But I think so much for us when we talk about the idea of traditional gamers is, we are pretty unabashedly like attempting to be the farthest from Web3 a Web3 game can be. And what I mean by that is we don't really talk about the NFT angle. We don't really talk about the blockchain angle. And that's, to a fault sometimes, for the record. So much of what we're trying to do is just promote ourselves as a Web2 game and be able to bring in the Web2 orgs and the Web2 content creators. And this is why we really held the tournament that we just did, because we really wanted to add a legitimacy to the game. We, didn't tell anybody at the tournament that we were a Web3 game. We didn't promote it. We haven't talked about it on Twitter. And so we wanted people to just come in and see the game for what it was. And I think if all of a sudden we told all of those people, hey, by the way, this is a Web3 game, I think they would all be pretty surprised. And I think the fact that we can get at that stage means that we can actually take mass adoption super seriously. And
yeah, so I mean, that's like the $1 billion question here is the UA problem. It is an onboarding question as well. And that's why we've launched something like social login. So all of our games, that's the number one focus internally, aside from security, is, okay, how do we actually make this an experience where it's seamless? And so a lot of our games are launching free-to-play versions in the App Store. I think that's where we really also have a great hand, is we have cultivated this relationship with Apple for the last year and a half to enable Axie to be one of the first NFT games within the App Store.
There's two things that we're doing. Passport is one of the biggest. So Passport is our ecosystem wallet. It's designed to be a gaming wallet, super simple, seamless user onboarding through social login. We'll have things like 2FA for password recovery. So like trying to abstract away some of the complexities for how you manage and maintain your account and identity. It then allows you obviously to kind of like carry your assets and what you own across the Immutable ecosystem. So for us, from a user perspective, those are sort of some of the key value points. From a developer perspective, super easy to integrate. Then on the publishing side, I think one of the important things that we do from a user acquisition perspective is our studio marketing team works with the developers that we help publish for.
It's very interesting because when we look at projects right now, there are two very different extremes, right? One is we are looking at a lot of projects which focus, laser focus, I would say, on Twitter, Discord marketing, what we call the Web3 marketing, right? Which is very focused on, sharing that roadmap, that vision. And I do think this will be able to get them to what we call the community market fit, right? But not necessarily a product market fit. But there's also like a lot of what we call Web2 founders coming to the Web3 scene. They see immense like opportunity, but at the same time, they're so focused on the UA side that they, miss the community market fit part of the equation. So it would be great if we're able to come across founding teams that manage the best of both worlds. This is something that yeah, we're trying to get at.
Yeah, I always love a great. I always love a great story, but there's always something for everybody. Especially with Frank. So he's a hardcore gamer. From birth, apparently, he's been a hardcore gamer during the NES times and 64 times. You can talk to him about Zelda. You can talk to him about those games from the past that before I was even born.
Yeah.
And what's insane is that he still finds the time to lead everything with Aperon and still play some games and still know what's going on. So it's really an inspiring story. Also, it's really an inspiring game. There's something for everybody, for hardcore gamers, for speed runners, for overachievers that just wants to 100% the game. There's lore, there's art, anything that you'd want from a community of gamers.
He did. Wait, can I get his gun? Oh, I can get his gun.
Ooh, you're good, man.
No, I can't.
Oh, you can pick up by pressing F.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but doesn't work.
Doesn't work? Damn.
Oh no, someone's shooting at me. Oh, wait. It's
or shift F. Like shift F? Is that? Oh, you don't have the gun anymore? That's suicide.
Okay, where's the guy?
You're gonna using
Behind
the shotgun. Guys, well,
let's go.
Yeah, well, Raccoon is playing. This game is called the Heaven's Compass. It's made by a great team, a great studio. We talked with them yesterday about the development and also the methodology that they have for developing the game. I talked with the CTO yesterday, Mo, and he said that he used to creating a VR game for the military to train the soldiers about learning about the shooting, about the how to run and the positioning, and now they are creating this first-person shooting game.
Yo, it's 2v1.
Yeah.
I don't have a gun.
So last weekend, I'm not sure if the audience noticed, but last weekend actually Team Liquid, Fnatic, G2, Method, Evil Geniuses, NRG, a lot of basically high. Oh, let me steal the ball. Oh my goodness! Look at this guy.
I know those guys. Like
you know those guys? Yeah.
Esports, yeah. Esports like elite teams, right?
Yeah, they're elite teams. They actually played Sparkball for a tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was like 10 of them, and that has never been done before in Web3 gaming, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah. So we're very proud of it. Oh, he's down.
Are you dying? You are.
I'm dying.
Oh,
but
so
I already killed their boss.
Actually hitting the boss, right?
Yeah. So
The way that we describe Bushi, it was a third-person competitive shooter. But more so, the game has turned into something that's, in my opinion, not really a shooter anymore. Sometimes people even refer to it as a third-person arena fighter or brawler. So I have my E ability here. It's called the dash attack.
Dash, yeah, I see.
Yeah, dash attack or dragon attack, either one. But this one hits for 75 damage. You see that I have 100 health at the bottom. And that's generally how people kind of like close the gap between themselves and somebody who's far away, like this guy. So I can I killed him, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's a dragon attack. And then there's your shift ability, which is just a dodge. So it's a dodge. It flings you forward. You can carry your momentum by sliding.
Yeah.
So you're sliding pretty far here.
Correct. So we are still balancing this, but as you see, yes, you can click on the mini map and you will see around what is there. And this is one of two maps. So as you progress, you will be able to access more already in this build. If you see at the beginning in the town, there is a big teleport flashing on the left side. And if you click on it later on, you will be able to be teleported to the Wastelands. And the Wastelands is another map where PvP is enabled. So it's suggested to go with a little bit higher level after you understand the game. Otherwise, other people will attack you. But yeah, the goal is that there's going to be some areas more PvE oriented and other where people can engage in PvP. And we will experiment with different sizes of maps where you can teleport just to see how people play together. But I'm already seeing on the map people fighting around, so that's pretty interesting. And yeah, so that's the size will be different sizes. This is probably on the largest end of the spectrum, and we will experiment with more focused, more strategic maps as well.
So right now the game is, I would say, 30% of the way to being fully complete, to being fully developed. We have the game currently live on very specific countries on some app stores, both on iOS and Google Play. But basically, in order to be able to play, you need to be in one of these countries, which are countries like USA, Poland, UK, Brazil, Portugal. And we are testing the game's metrics out there. So we are very analytics driven, really want the game to be proven when it comes to its numbers. So we are first testing these metrics, but if you are in one of these countries, you can freely play the game. And yeah, so we are around 30% of the way there. And we believe that once we reach September or October, we will be able to release the full game with all of its planned features, at least in the early stage. So that's
this one is still in test phase. Let's say we just rolled it out. You are one of the first. You will see it.
We're gonna have a weapon like a gun.
Yeah, of course. It's a shooter first and foremost.
Sure. Okay.
The gladiators is basically the logic and concept behind it, because there are teams and they fight like gladiators in this kind of arena that's that resemble the real world, right?
Okay. Nice,
all right. So
nice.
these are the points that you need to capture. I think we are working in Unreal Engine 5, so the graphics are pretty good. We try to adjust them all the time because it's really important for us to have a really nice visual looking game.
Oh, it
we
looks
have different
nice.
stuff here.
The feeling of the game, like there's a jump lane as well. Nice.
Yeah, this zip lane. We have jump pads. We have different mechanics. We also play with destructibles. You can use zip line, right, to move to the different spots on the map.